you following what they're saying with Biden's warning about cyber attacks from Russia? Are you following that story at all?
Yeah.
How much credibility you give to that could happen?
Oh, I would say very credible. And I'm just hoping the government is astute enough to have plans. I remember I joined Wall Street almost 60 years ago, and one of the first companies I visited was a company called Bemis Company, okay, in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. And they told me they had just completed a government contract, be news to you, to bury a couple of 100 million shrouds along the eastern seaboard, because they felt in the event of a nuclear attack, we wouldn't have the time to bury everybody, so we had shrouds buried along the eastern seaboard to cover the bodies in the streets. So, the government's always thinking for us. Hopefully...
They know what's best. They know what's best. They know what's best for you, Leon.
I see the smile on your face.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're talking to the guy who escaped that to be here, so I can make a decision for myself. If I screw up, go be it. But no, this is what Biden said. He said on March 21st, the more Putin's back is against the wall, the greater the severity of the tactics he may employ. One of the tools he most likely to use, in our view, is cyber attacks. The magnitude of Russia's cyber capacity is fairly consequential, and it's coming, he continued. So, does anybody really know what that would look like? Is anybody talking about what that would look like?
They shut down the power grids and stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah,
and that's where they can be the most, and the financial
system. Look what they
system.
did to the Colonial Pipeline,
yeah.
Where they had gas lines for a while. Look, this is a different form of war, and hopefully it's cyber and not nuclear.
You read my mind.
Nuclear is much more dangerous.
Mm-hmm. But that's a good way to sow the seeds of societal unrest in an economy that's plagued by inequality. Is you turn the lights out.
We have to decide whether we're a capitalist nation or a socialist nation. And I think one of the biggest threats this country has is, from what I read, 30% of the young people think socialism is preferred to capitalism.
It's even higher than
That's
that
scary.
now.
Yeah. So scary.
Did you see the chart about the support for unions since 1965? Did you see that chart that was shared? Okay, Tyler, do you have that or no? If you have that, if you can pull that up, make it... Okay, so this is from our... go a little lower so he knows who it's from. It's from Robert Reich, I'm sure, which you appreciate Robert Reich. Robert Reich...
Another socialist.
Another socialist.
Absolutely.
Public support for unions is at a 50-year high. This is a big deal. You see approval rating, how high it is, 68%. Last time we were there was 1965, a year before you got with Goldman. Is this... for the average person, I was like, what's the big deal? Unions are good because they protect the employee. What does this mean to the average person that's reading this?
I'm not anti-union, but I would basically just say it's very clear that the power is shifting from capital to labor right now. And that's one of the reasons I'd have a conservative view about the market. I'm not anti-union. Basically, this is just a fact of life.
Did the pendulum swing too far in terms of...
Well, income disparity is a big issue.
Well, I'm talking about CEO pay versus the people who are working for the companies.
Yeah, it has, but Warren Buffett says that they ought to name these consultants Ratchet, and Ratchet, because they just come and they bless what the boards want to do. I think it is a big problem. I own stock in a company that the CEO has made a shitload of money, a huge amount of money, and the stock is lower than it was a decade ago. And it's just wrong. And, I just don't have the time to tilt the windmills, so I keep the position small or I just move on and sell.
Well, at the end of the day, you get what you pay for, and you can pay people to be productive.
You can, but I think that business is getting paid more than they produced. And you quote Kyle Icahn, he's on a big soapbox on that, and he's not wrong. But
business is getting paid more than they produce?
In some instances, yes. In some instances, they get paid less. Like I said, one of my heroes was Henry Singleton of Teledyne. Never made more than $1 million a year running the company. And he was absolutely brilliant in everything he did. He basically did 130 acquisitions intelligently. He basically bought stocks in other companies intelligently. He managed his own capital structure. He bought back 90% of his stock before dying very intelligently. He made the investors a shitload of money, never got paid a lot of money. And he made the money because he owned 20% of the company. And he was totally aligned with the shareholders. I think that this income disparity is a very long-term issue, and it has to be dealt with through education.
Amen.
Unpack that.
Amen.
Well, basically, you got to create economic opportunity for people, and you got to give them the tools to be competitive. And I think education is the best way to do it.
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.